I think just being a host, seriously, being prepared, like you prepared this document we're looking at, to know what's coming. A lot of people are quite nervous if they've never done it before, like understandably. But you can really lower the heat on that by saying, you know, whatever you say, it's not getting released unless you want it to. Yeah. You get full veto power. Let's relax. I'm only going to ask you questions that you know the answers to. So let's just have a fun little conversation. And if you don't even want to release it at all, we don't have to. And that makes a more kind of fun conversation, I think.
Hello, and welcome to Gettin Air. It's the Open Pedagogy podcast. And I'm your host, not Terry Greene, but Alan Levine. And I'm here to turn the tables on Terry and interview him on Gettin Air.
Whoa, wait. No, it's time for a new episode of OEGlobal Voices, the podcast we produce here at Open Education Global. Each episode, we share with you conversation style, people, practices, and ideas from open educators from around the world. I am your humble host, editor, and button clicker, not Alan Levine, but Terry Greene. Wait a minute, I'm not that humble, am I?
Not at all, because you're an award winner. Hold the bus. Are we getting really too meta here, Terry? I mean, we've known each other for so long. And we actually did this Flip podcast. I had to go back and look back in 2022. And
yeah,
that was a lot of fun. And
it was.
Gettin Air, we're going to talk about Gettin Air. Terry and I have known each other for so long, we don't remember. And we'll probably have way too many inside jokes. But here we are. It's Monday, June 16th, and we're going to record a conversation with Terry as a follow-up to last year. He got recognized with our fancy Open Education Awards for Excellence in the wildcard category for his podcast, Gettin Air. If you haven't heard Gettin Air, you're missing out, and I'll plug that. And what you do on Gettin Air, Terry, is what I tried to sort of copy here for OEGlobal Voices.
That's pretty cool, because your work on like the radio stuff for DS 106 is what got me thinking about it in the first place. So it works both ways. So thank you.
And it was way back in September of last year that we announced Terry as one of these winners. And we decided to wait deliberately, for a good reason. Mainly now we're doing some of these podcasts because we've just opened nominations for the 2025 awards. And hearing from Terry is going to inspire many more people to go out there and nominate, and also give him a chance to do some more stuff that he can talk about. Really, what we want to do is just let you meet and get to know some of the people who've been recognized before. And again, we want to inspire you to get out there and nominate. So we got podcasting and podcasters talking about podcasting. Hello and welcome, good friend Terry.
Thank you so much for having me again. I do like a good excuse to chat with you, Alan.
All right. So let me know. I know where you are. And, I always ask, when you ask, and this, people do your intros, they'll say, I'm Terry Greene. I'm in Peterborough, Ontario, and I work for Trent University. They give the map location. I also like, because it's podcast and people can't see where you are, if you can describe what is your physical location.
Sure. So I am in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. It's also known as Nogo-Jiwanong, which is the Mississauga Anishinaabe original name for the area. I believe it's something like where the waters meet. There's a couple of lakes and rivers around here. Some trees and rocks too. It's pretty awesome. And physically, for you can actually see me. It's not as blurry as it looks here. Anyway, I'm down in my basement. It's nice and cool down here. I've got some pretty awesome wood paneling all around me that Jim Groom is very jealous of, that he noticed when he was on a call with me once. And yeah, I got a lot of vinyl here, got my record player, got some albums, a lot of classic old school hip hop stuff all around me, so I can hit the play button on that whenever I want to get some fresh beats.
Fresh beats. And so you get regularly to do some work at home, and also when you're not on campus. How does that work out now?
We can work remotely like 95% of the time. I go in tomorrow for meetings, but which is so great. Mostly our work is so flexible. Like, we build online courses, we should be able to work online. Makes perfect sense. It is a beautiful campus, so it draws me there just for that reason often, at Trent in Peterborough. So I get to work remotely, which is awesome for pick up and drop off of the kids at school, which is like 2 blocks away.
And where did Terry come into the world? Where did you live as a kid? And what did you think of school when you were like in elementary school? What kind of student were you?
Oh, flawless student. Yeah. Constantly getting, I grew up in Alberta. I was in Banff until I was about 11. My dad worked for the Banff Center, which is kind of like a college there. It has a school of arts, a school of mountain culture, which is pretty cool. They're kind of maybe one of their most famous things is the Banff Mountain Film Festival, which has the festival there and then it tours all over. So I would go to those all the time, those really cool movies, like short films and stuff from all over the world. But school, like I got decent grades all through. But just I wasn't focused on being the most academic or anything. I just wanted to kind of have a good time, like enjoy the mount like when I lived in Banff, the mountains, the sports and stuff. And then we moved to Edmonton. My sport was alpine ski racing.
Mhm.
So moving to Edmonton to the prairies from Banff was a little disappointing. But I kept doing that. So I actually missed quite a bit of school, but the motivation to continue the skiing kept me motivated to do well enough in school to keep going. So that was like a good kind of counteraction on each other, if that makes sense.
See, I never knew you were a skier. What people know Banff, it's a big tourist town, but what's it like to be a permanent resident in a place that people come to be tourists?
Yeah, it's weird. I think my parents made a conscious decision to move away before my siblings and I were in our teens, uh, because of how transient it is. Like it's a party happening all the time. People coming through with partying stuff like drugs. So that I think it was probably pretty smart. I would have probably had a very different life if we didn't move away from there. So good call, mom and dad, I think.
Parents, yeah. You heard it here. We'll jump around, but like, we're talking about we're about open education and
Mhm.
and like how did that come into your life and your work? Like, did like the clouds part and like open education appeared? What was the call to adventure?
I know you are totally not setting yourself up for the credit here, but you're part of it through DS 106, which I've already mentioned. The
What is DS 106? Can you explain what DS 106 is?
I can't. I don't know what it is. Yeah, the DS is digital storytelling. It is a open learning experience about just messing around with technology stuff in order to tell stories online. And so yeah, one year, I think 2015, I was meant to look up and find something to do for professional development. And I came across this, and just the look of it looked like kind of not grimy, but like not polished. Like it looked like let's do some crazy things and try things out, and you'll see your stuff up here. That was neat. So it wasn't about open education, but it was an open learning experience. It really kind of modeled so many open things like the assignment bank, the daily create, the sharing your work, the blogging, the radio, just doing things in the open. It opened more eyes than I have, I think, and then led me towards learning about what is CC licensing, what is open education, how can I use this kind of approach in my work.
And
Yeah, it
now,
was endlessly inspiring.
now it's your life. And so let's talk about podcasting. Like, do you remember listening to podcasts? Like, what was your draw to do your own podcast?
So I got pulled into it by Stephen Hurley, who started Voice Ed Radio Canada. And he was a K-12 educator who was just naturally an open educator, loved sharing, loved interviewing people like you and I both love to do, just chatting with people and picking their brain and doing it in a space where other people could hear. This was after I did DS 106. And I think because of my blogging and just sharing silly ideas prompted by silly prompts and fun prompts and cool stuff, he invited me to be a guest on it. And he was starting Voice Ed Radio. He's like, I want to have my own kind of stable of podcasts here. Are you interested? And so he showed me the ropes on how to do it, set things up. I don't know how many people he's done that for, like Heather Ross with the Better Me podcast, and probably dozens of others brought me into it.
And serendipity, like the hour before, I was doing another podcast recording with Heather and some colleagues here in Saskatchewan. If I count right, I just started listening to episode 177 with Dave Cormier
Hmm.
again, but Dave is always worth listening to. It's quite a
Yes.
span, and I scrolled all the way back and I found your first episode was with Jenny Heyman. Can you talk about like what did you learn between 1 and 177?
Uh, I would recommend listening to only Jenny on the very first episode because Stephen was there in the background nudging me along. I never want to listen to that again. I'm afraid of what it sounds like. But yeah, along the way, the great part is you interview these great people and you learn from them about what they do. But what I've learned about podcasting is just, you know, it's fun to be prepared with some kind of deep cut. I think it was Brian Lamb who compared it to Nardwar, the human serviette, who is a very famous Canadian interviewer, very
Mhm.
eccentric,
Yeah.
always has a question about someone's childhood nickname or something that just blows them away. That kind of stuff is just the sauce that makes it fun. I'm not Nardwar, but I love it and I want to sort of emulate that a bit. I think just being a host, seriously, being prepared, like you prepared this document we're looking at to know what's coming. A lot of people are quite nervous if they've never done it before,
Hmm.
like understandably, but you can really lower the heat on that by saying, whatever you say, it's not getting released unless you want it to.
Yeah.
You get full veto power. Let's relax. I'm only going to ask you questions that you know the answers to. So let's just have a fun little conversation. And if you don't even want to release it at all, we don't have to. And that makes a more kind of fun conversation, I think.
When you listen to podcasts, what appeals to you? It's obvious that probably folds into what you do, but how do podcasts work for you as a listener?
I don't know the best answer here, but I pick a few that I know I like Bonnie Stahoviak's Teaching in Higher Ed. Uh, she must be at 500 or 600 episodes now. So like that is probably a huge chunk of what I do listen to because there's so many and you can revisit and search by theme. Don't look at her podcast site and compare it to mine, please. It's so good. And I think what I do is just like network from there. Like who is she talking to? If they mentioned other podcasts, I'll check that out and just kind of dabble
Mhm.
in that direction. And just based on interest, I listen to lots of Oilers podcasts right now because hopefully you're not hearing this and it's over and they've lost the Stanley Cup. Hopefully you're listening to this and the Oilers have won the Stanley Cup when this gets released. But right now they're in the midst of the final, and so I'm listening to a lot of that. But yeah, the ones I like are ones that are conversational
Mhm.
and people kind of just informally having fun with each other.
I know you do homework, and I think you ask friends of your guest. Is that how it works? Like,
Often, yeah.
yeah. And do you ever like not find something that you can dig into, or do you have to just like do some web searching kind of?
The kind of funnest thing I think, I don't want to sound like a brag, but what I find fun is, especially if they're like a PhD, look up what they did in their PhD and then just offhandedly ask, "Oh, hey, do you know anything about?" And they're like, "Well, yes, I do. I know the most in the world about that." And then let them share that kind of stuff. If it's someone I don't know and I don't really know who they know, I just focus on a product that I've been asked to interview someone about a book that's coming out.
Mhm.
We'll base it around the book, and I usually feel a little more nervous about those ones actually because there's no connection yet. But usually by the end of the conversation, you feel more natural and more like you're becoming friends, kind of thing.
And obviously, Dave Cormier's, Audrey Waters. I mean, how do you go about like getting the mix? Because you also include a lot of people who aren't as quote unquote well known. Not that there's a ladder. How do you go about finding unique guests that you're interested in doing and that you think your audience would want to hear?
I find at this point I get those suggested to me kind
Mm.
of. I'm lucky that way. I don't have to search too hard. But often, yeah, it'll just be seeing them post on, now it's Blue Sky or LinkedIn even, post something interesting, and uh, I reach out. Sometimes I'm lucky and they've heard of it and are like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, holy crap, how have I not asked them yet? Like, I know, because I know them and I just haven't realized, wow, that's a great pick. There's how many people on Earth? 8 billion.
Yeah.
So I don't feel so bad about not getting to everybody, but yeah, it's endless. It's easy pickings, I think, sometimes.
I won't ask for names, but has anybody turned you down?
Yeah, yeah, an author who wrote this really cool looking thing. Yeah, I don't want to give any names. Actually, it's probably more like a publicist was like, they don't have time for that crap.
And what's so great about hip hop?
Uh, I think I noticed a connection or a comparison of it between the work I do as building online. So I build online courses
Hmm.
with subject matter experts, and what you're doing is curating different technologies and resources and putting it into a module or something. But you're building a rhythm, I think, of each module, and it kind of, I think, feels like hip hop, which is also technological. It started because they messed with how a turntable works.
Mm.
It stopped it with their hand instead of just letting it play, and that was scratching and sampling and all that. I can see what we're doing in online learning is sampling things, and we're trying to make the most out of the technology we're handed. So maybe the learning management system is the turntable, and we're not quite perfectly happy with how it works. So we got to put our hands on it and mess with it. I see that connection, and they do it with style and art. So I want to do that.
You have a poster with Steez. What's Steez?
And My Steez is a song from Gangstar. My favorite genre of hip hop is early 90s, late 80s into 90s, old school hip hop. And so Gangstar was kind of a key piece of that. So Steez is style and ease, doing things with style and ease. So I thought Steez based learning, and it was based around just messing with making audio books with beats.
Mm.
So you can take an openly licensed book with some openly licensed music, put that instrumental beat at a very low volume together, and maybe you can learn with style and ease by just listening to an open book. It's fun to mess around with.
You've done a couple of those, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a dozen people worldwide really interested in this approach.
So you decide that you're gonna like pick an open textbook, and do you record the audio and then do you put the track down, or do you do some AI?
I'm just the hack taking things and putting together.
Okay.
Not making any music or anything myself.
Yeah.
So I find some on the Free Music Archive, something
Yeah.
instrumental.
Yeah.
And then I actually used, does it count as an AI? A text to speech tool.
Yeah.
With more kind of natural sounding than the old robot sounding stuff to put it all together. So I'm actually just producing it, I guess.
You're mixing it. You're mixing it. What are some of the titles that you've done? Can you remember some offhand?
Yeah. So I choose the books based on just what I want to. It gives me an excuse to focus in and read, and ingest the content. So first one was from Terry Anderson, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have been. I think I just did 2 full books. Both of them from Athabasca Press. How Education Works was John Drawn was released last year, and the other one was an older book about online learning. I think it's kind of a classic, and I feel silly that I don't remember the name of it right now. And then after that, we didn't put any music underneath, but I helped Lorna Chernovich and Catherine Cronin create the audio version of Higher Education for Good.
Yeah.
Which is massive. That was cool because there's so many different approaches and so many different, like I didn't do them all. I just did the ones where the authors were comfortable creating AI.
Okay.
And I'm not an AI enthusiast or anything, but this was a kind of a cool use of it to getting the audio version of that out possible.
Right. And so the whole book is out with audio, either
Yeah.
spoken by the authors or look, he's got a copy.
All that work got me a copy, which was awesome. I just need to find them and get them to sign it. But yeah, it's 700 million pages. Let me check. 633.
That's a massive book and an impressive effort. I remember back to hip hop. Weren't you doing a podcast with Anne Marie Scott where you're, what was it called? And what was the angle on that podcast?
So it was called Check the OL. Check the OR, or was Organized Rhyme, the hip hop group from Ottawa.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that was just a riff on that. And it was literally just me and Anne Marie connecting with the people behind kind of transformative online courses, like just really great courses. There was a book that helped me learn, like in hip hop, one of the kind of 5 tenets is that the story of hip hop. You know what are all the best albums and how they came to be and stuff. So there's a book about the story behind groundbreaking hip hop, and I loved the book. So if you wanted to learn about what made Enter the 36 Chambers from Wu-Tang such a special album, you read that and you learn. So I wanted to do that for those courses. So like Bonnie Stewart had Antigonish 2.0, DS-106. The really epically interesting one was from ModPo, Modern Poetry, with Al Filreis.
He's amazing. That's astounding, isn't it? Yeah. And it's
That
still
was
it's still
amazing.
going, right? Isn't
Yeah.
ModPo? Yeah.
The way he described how it was meta pedagogical, like Anne Marie, who is a genius, and like I was just catching up to like what was going on, but Anne Marie was like jaw drop like that. This was unbelievable. And so I would love to, and I know it's going to take a long time because I'm not that productive these days, but I want to make a book out of those stories and make more of them. I would love to show how an online learning experience can elevate to something that you'll never forget, which is what DS-106 was for me.
Yeah. I have a really hard question. I've been doing my own research and I've been reading your Blue Sky. Do you really have 2-pack socks?
I do. I've got 2-pack socks and they came in a 3-pack, and I thought that was a little silly. It should have been a 2-pack.
And you can't even get DS-106 socks for the inside joke. Podcasting is really popular, right? And what do you suggest for someone who wants to start out and be a Terry Greene or be themselves? But like, what's a good place to start if you get the idea to do a podcast?
Like, this is just my approach, but I don't overthink the quality of the audio. I just go by good vibes, and the vibes come from, finding fun background music to put in, finding interesting stories to talk about. Like, think of how fun it must be, I assume, for Nardwar to track down like Kendrick Lamar's childhood friend and find out what his silly nickname was to throw back at it like that. How fun, like that'd be so fun. So if like digging and finding those fun stories to connect and make someone excited to talk to you is, I'm assuming it's an interview style podcast, but just telling the story. If like, just tell the stories you're interested in telling. For me, the Gettin Air concept just kind of happened when that song came on. And I was like, yeah, because this was when Stephen Hurley was like, you should start one. And I wasn't sure how to do it or what it should be about. And I was like, Getting Air, get some airtime for people to share what they do in open education. It all just kind of connected at once.
And did the song come first?
Yeah, the song is what like put it all together.
How did you find, or you knew the song, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're from, I don't like giving people from Calgary props because I'm from Edmonton, but Chicks Dig It was the band. They're from Calgary. They're a great punk band in the late 90s. I think they probably still around now. So that song did it.
Do they know how much fame you've given them by using their song on Gettin Air? Have you heard from them?
No, never heard from them. But when we started, Stephen Hurley, he was on like a copyright board, and he assured us that we can use it. I'm not convinced, but I'll go with it. But I worry that I owe them money at some point. So I've got some savings ready for that. But I love you, Chicks Dig It.
Yeah.
Don't hurt me.
I did go on Bandcamp, and you can buy the song for $1,
I had bought it. I did buy it.
but that doesn't really give you license to reuse it for a broadcast.
No,
Yeah.
I've never made any money off of Gettin Air, so I hope you're listening to that part, Chicks Dig It, if you're hearing this.
Yeah. Give a prod to Terry. Maybe you can have him on the show sometime. Maybe you can do a Gettin Air.
Should, yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be wild? Outside of podcasting, what are some of the projects that you're doing at Trent that you're really excited about, open education related?
Just in general, the job is so cool because you get to a couple new courses every semester. So I'm building a course on non-formal community-based education.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about open education in that. And we're getting a panel podcast for every module, stuff like that. And I also just built a course about the ancient wonders of the world, the 7 ancient wonders of the world. Now I know more than just the pyramids.
Did you get to go there? Did you do field research?
I suggested it, but didn't get the fun. None of them are anywhere near Saskatchewan or Ontario.
And what Ned Tech are you really like fired up about? I'll do the AI barometer, but like anything else happening in our field right now that you were like, wow, I got to get into that.
Mostly I'm just thinking about how, wow, I wish I didn't have to get into AI. It just takes my time instead of saves me time, to be honest. But it makes me reevaluate how interesting the non-AI approach is, and, you know, actually reading something to get to understand what was in it. I kind of value that more now that I know I could just pop it into AI and get a summary or something. I guess it makes me value that work more. But yeah, ed tech wise, yeah, no, I'm just interested in connecting stories and people through panel podcasts, which is not an innovative technology, but we need things like that into course. The students don't get a podcast created just for their course often. So it's still pretty special, I think.
That's brilliant. And there's rumors I've heard of that you're working on an advanced degree. When do I get to call you Dr. Terry?
Don't hold your breath. I delayed the beginning of it, but I still fully intend to do it. The program was very what's the word, generous in letting me know that when I reapply, I'll pretty confident I'll be able to get back in. But it's an interdisciplinary social research PhD at Trent. I delayed it. It's free, but the cost to me is time with my family. And they're still pretty young. So I want to get all my ducks in a row and begin when I'm truly. And I think if I delay it a bit, hopefully time it to finish while hopefully my kids are maybe at Trent as well.
There you go.
Which would be very cool. But I volunteered at the convocation a few times last week, and seeing all that got me like thinking, oh, I shouldn't have delayed it. I should get back in there. But what I want to do is study kind of what we've already talked about, is how, creative productions like albums and not necessarily hip hop, but I'll probably focus on hip hop, or, plays or movies or anything. Those pros can be brought over to producing learning experiences and make them more like art based and maybe more deeply emotional experiences. I think there's something there. It doesn't have to be always just kind of not as exciting.
Yeah. I forget the host name, the Song Exploder podcast, where they break down like how a song was produced way back to where it came from and the basic tracks.
The samples.
Yeah. And so they talk to artists, who have produced like commercial or well-known songs. And they go back to just, sometimes it's just where the idea came from or what some of the first tracks were. And I always thought that had a great metaphor for how we develop courses. Because
yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of stuff. So maybe what I want to study has already been done, but I don't know.
No one's done it. You still got it. So given again, like this is the thing I'm trying to sell. We're opening the nominations for this year's award. Sometimes I get the feeling people look at that and they say, oh, that's nice. But like my stuff, I've never done 177 episodes of a podcast, or my work is not as good as the people who win. Um, can you sort of give me like a persuasive statement about why people in the community should consider putting forth a nomination this year?
Like, it's not about creating flashy stuff. It's about creating stuff with heart, or doing work that, and obviously you have heart when you're working in an open way, and everybody deserves some recognition for that. Like, it makes me think of Kimberly Carter from last year, Open Catalyst. She's not doing flashy stuff, but she's working her ass off to get people to be aware of OER at Conestoga in Ontario. And she's working on policy and making sure everybody is in the know and there's connections with the students services, all that stuff. She deserved that so hard, and I'm so glad she won that. I didn't need more gratitude for Gettin Air, but I loved it. It's so nice. It reinvigorated, because I hadn't done an episode in a while when I heard about it. So it was pretty up to get that. I think the works, and I don't know who nominated it yet. I'm gonna find you though. I will find you, and thank you for it. But I'm sure it does not take that long to put in a nomination. You could take your time and put a lot into it, but that I think that doing that yourself is a feel good thing, because you're giving someone the gratitude that they deserve, even if they just find out about the nomination, they didn't win or anything. And you guys were so great about that last year. Like, you celebrate nominate long list, the short list, the winners, all that is because everybody should learn about, like, even just convincing someone that you've done good enough work to do a nomination is like so rewarding right there.
And this year, throwing another element in, every person or project that gets nominated, we're going to send them a digital badge and a certificate, because we know that that's meaningful. But I literally came up with this idea when I was driving, and I threw it to the forum, is like, if Terry's going in and he's going to nominate Jenny Heyman for an award, because that's such a gracious thing to do, you can check a box to say, like, when we notified Jenny, you can let her know that it came from Terry, or you can remain anonymous. Or the third option is, I'm nominating myself, but that's okay too. But that idea about, like, wouldn't it be wonderful when you get the notice that you were nominated for an award, that it was entered by someone else? I think that's pretty compelling.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm extremely grateful for whoever put in the Gettin Air one. So I got one before for Liberated Learner. Not me, we did. Like, there was 100 people on that project. We manufactured that nomination through the award at Trent. We wanted to put it in because we were proud of that work. So yeah, we self nominated. Don't feel bad about that.
No, self-nominations are perfectly legit, and we encourage that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Both of them work. So outside of all this work that you do, when you get out of the basement there, what's something that really gives you fulfillment away from work?
Lately, it's been jogging.
Really?
And like you just said, an idea came to you while driving. Do you know the what the concept, the flow? His name is Chikset. It's a long name. I can't remember it right now. It's a really neat when you're doing something and you need to focus on what you're doing. You enter this state of, I think jogging isn't enough for flow. Unless you're jogging on like rocks on a beach or something. But it's close enough that you can't just have your mind all over the place. I think you can only get a few thoughts through, and I think you get some clarity. And like, so if I jog while I'm working on a course, I probably will come back with kind of some clarity on the approach or one. So, and then it feels good because it was worked through and it feels like a good idea.
It's like it kind of like distills in your brain away from the screen, right?
And obviously the benefits of the exercise and getting out in nature and all that. Like, it's kind of like triple bonus, even though it's feels like suffering sometimes when you're doing it.
My hat's off to you. I'll give you a hat tip for that.
I never would have expected I'd be a jogger, but I'm really enjoying it.
I just love talking to you, Terry.
I love talking to you. I would do it every day.
All right, I'll call you tomorrow. But
Sounds good.
thank you, Terry, and thank you everybody for listening. The billions of listeners that we have here to this episode of OEGlobal Voices.
Can't wait to go viral.
Yeah, the podcast that we do from Open Education Global. And every time I do an episode, I pick a different musical track. I don't have a single track. And I try to find something relevant to the guest or the topic from the Free Music Archive. As Terry already mentioned, Free Music Archive is Creative Commons license, and it's generally by independent musicians. And so I can't really use the Gettin Air track by Chicks Dig It from Terry's, but you can hear the power chords opening up. And so I might try to see if I can play the chords on my guitar and see how bad that sounds for a fake intro. But if that fails, I have a backup. And so I did find a music called Breathing Out, which it's like the opposite of Gettin Air. Breathing out, getting air, breathing out. And it's by an artist named Midair Machine, and it's licensed Attribution Share Alike. You'll find this at our site, voices.oeglobal.org. And we try to instigate some follow-up conversations in our OEG Connect. I can't talk today, Terry. Does that ever happen to you?
Yes, definitely. Every day.
All right. In our OEG Connect community or wherever you interact with us in all the social medias. And if you're listening right now and you want to be where Terry is right now, or you want to give us a suggestion, and I hear that Terry gets frequent suggestions for guests. And so we're only at 87, Terry, so I got a long way to go to get to 177.
You might catch me, though.
So just let us know who you would want to see on the show. And always great to talk to you, Terry. You're an inspiration.
Well, you do it right back to me, so thank you. I really appreciate it.